Okay, in this lesson we are going to learn how to add and subtract polynomials. Adding and subtracting polynomials is actually very similar to combining like terms. Quick review of combining like terms. Like terms would be two or more chunks of an expression that have the same variable, also known as a letter, and the same exponent, which is your little raised number. Okay, first example, we are going to add n to the second power plus 7n minus 2n to the fourth power with 3n to the fourth power plus 7n squared plus 3n. Okay, the first thing that we are going to do is start by matching up our like terms. So these two would go together because they both have an n to the fourth power. These two would go together because they both just have a regular n. And these two will go together because they are both n to the second power. And I'm also going to work on trying to get these into standard form, so I'm going to start with the biggest exponent first, which is the fourth power here. So this one, if I was going to think about it, and I'll do it off to the side for thinking, says we are going to add negative 2 plus 3, which is positive 1. And just like in Algebra 1, where the label stays the same, it will stay the same in Algebra 2. So we will keep the n, we will keep the exponent. The next biggest exponent then is the n squared. So I will be adding n squared and 7n squared. Don't forget there's an invisible 1 here in front of the n, so I'm going to be thinking 1 plus 8, or 1 plus 7, which is 8n to the second power. And finally, I have 7n plus 3n. 7 plus 3 is 10. Label stays the same, so final answer for this one is 1 to the fourth power plus 8n squared plus 10n. Next example, 7n to the third power plus 5n to the fourth power minus 5v, all added with 7v to the third power minus 4v to the fourth power. So my like terms would be these two, because they both have a v to the fourth power. These two, because they are both v to the third power. And, well, then there's this one, which doesn't go with anything else. So I'm going to start with my biggest exponent again. So here's what I would be thinking in my head. Alright, I'm going to start with v to the fourth power. Here's what I'm going to be thinking inside my head. 5v to the fourth power plus a negative 4v to the fourth power. Or you could think of it as 5 minus 4. In either case, we're going to end up with 1v to the fourth power. Next is my third powers. So I'll have 7v to the third power plus 7v to the third power, which makes 14v to the third power. And then finally there's that minus 5v. Since it doesn't go with anything, I'm going to copy it down exactly as it is. This is the final answer, nothing else goes together. Next example, 2n to the fourth power plus 6n to the third power plus 2. And we are subtracting 7n to the fourth power minus 3n to the third power minus 2. Alright, my fourth powers go together, my third powers go together, and my 2's will go together. Something that might make this easier to work with, though, is to get rid of that subtraction and change it to addition. If we change the sign of one thing, we have to change the sign of everything else. So positive 7 becomes negative, negative 3 becomes positive, and negative 2 becomes positive. Alright. I'm going to be thinking 2n to the fourth power plus negative 7n to the fourth power. 2 plus negative 7 is negative 5n to the fourth power. Next, 6n to the third power plus 3n to the third power is 9n to the third power. And finally, 2 plus 2 is 4. Last example, 2x to the third power plus 6 plus 4x minus negative 7x to the third power plus 4. Remember, our third powers go together, our numbers by themselves go together, and it looks like this one does not have anything to match up with. Now, if you do not like flipping and adding, you could also just subtract. So for this one, I would think 2x to the third power minus negative 7x to the third power. But when we minus a negative, that's the same thing as adding. So I would get 9x to the third power after I combine. The 4x, that is all by itself, doesn't match up with anything, so I'll just bring it down. And finally, 6 minus a positive 4 would just be 2. So I'll put 2, and because it's a positive 2, then I need to make sure that I stick a plus sign in the middle. Final answer. That's it.